Here's where I am currently on the Mughal polystyrene drawing project. I worked on it a little bit during the early night hours. Essentially doing touch-ups on the front side of the polystyrene block that I've dedicated to this project. I used these markers for the touch-ups, though for this one in particular, I didn't use that one for the front side. I used that one on the back side to do a bit of final shaping for this fur flap near the wings to make the end look more like this bit of that wing on the front side, only mirrored. And when I mirror the outlines for the wings, starting with the bottom, I'll be using this end of this dual tip Sharpie marker for that. Me and my dad were out roughly from 1:45 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. To celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We first picked up my dad's friend Bill, and we were at Tryon City Tavern by about 2 p.m. And we were at Tryon City Tavern until about 4:30 p.m. And during our time at Tryon City Tavern, I got an order of Irish nachos, of which what I'm having currently is a combination of what was left over of my order and what my dad's friend Maggie gave to us. My dad's friend Maggie also got an order of Irish nachos, which are essentially an order of loaded tater tots. This bread is more of the loaf of salty French bread my dad got from the salty bread the other day. At least a few days ago. These Irish nachos are a combination of what was left over of my order, of which I ate most of it before getting it into a box, and ate all of the order of corned beef, cabbage, and carrots. That I got as essentially my entree at Tryon City Tavern. I ordered for my first alcoholic beverage a Guinness Stout, and sipped at it both before my food came and while eating the food I ordered, along with some of what my dad and his friends shared. My dad's friend Maggie joined us as we were sitting at the bar of Tryon City Tavern. It's a pretty long bar, and we sat at the far left area of it. After very briefly at the start sitting at one of the dining room tables. I mean, dining area tables. There aren't really rooms. Within pub restaurants. And then, after I finished the Guinness, I ordered an alcoholic beverage that my dad ordered earlier. Something by the Trogs brand. I'm not quite sure what it's called. Apparently it has hints of raspberry in it. And maybe it had hints of it, though it wasn't that strong. I personally didn't notice it much. And then we went to Perry's Pizzeria's pub location. And we're there roughly from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. We went to Perry's Pizzeria's pub location because Tryon City Tavern it doesn't usually have desserts and didn't have any desserts. And not even for the special menu they had for St. Patrick's Day. While at Tryon City Tavern, I was initially going to get as my appetizer the Irish potato soup, a bowl of that, but then while I was in queue, I guess the kitchen queue, the restaurant ran out of that, the Irish potato soup, so I then switched to essentially my second choice, which in this case was an order of the Irish nachos. These are from the order of Jersey fries my dad got. The Jersey fries are from the non-Irish food specials part of the menu. And Dad also got a bowl of the Irish chili with, I believe it had some Guinness infused cabbage or something Guinness infused in it. Dad shared some of the chili with me, and I didn't really notice any cabbage or any Guinness infusion, but it was still enjoyable. And maybe that had something to do with the fact that I mixed in some of my order of Irish nachos into the chili. At Perry's Pizzeria's pub location, I had one Gatorade cocktail, in this case, the Lime of Scrimmage. And then later on, I helped my dad and his friends with a basket of cans of Genesee and Genesee Light that they got. And with my dad pouring in a can of Genesee Light into the same glass I sipped at, for the Lime of Scrimmage cocktail. Though we primarily came to Perry's Pizzeria's pub location for dessert. Though I primarily had it there, and even then, not that much of it. My dad got an order of their fried dough, Perry's Pizzeria's pub location. It was huge, had a ton of powdered sugar on it, and came with a medium-ish plastic container of vanilla frosting for dipping. And that was after I ate most of the food I ordered for myself at Tryon City Tavern. And at one point while at Tryon City Tavern, my dad offered me a small paper plate with essentially extra chives, presumably from Maggie's order of Irish nachos, to essentially put on top of my Irish nachos, and I accepted, since I didn't want them to be wasted, and chives do not have a strong flavor, but even so, they can still be a good topping. They have a bit of crunch to them still. I recall waking up today around 12:45 p.m. or so. After going to bed around 4 in the morning. Between 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning. Sometime between that. Though I primarily had some of a pot of coffee my dad made. He made it during the early afternoon, and I primarily had some of it during the mid-afternoon period, and then had most of it the majority of the pot Dad made in the early afternoon. I had most of it during the late evening hours due to me and my dad leaving around 1:45 p.m. and us going with his friends to Tryon City Tavern and Perry's Pizzeria's pub location. Some of the coffee I drank in a thermos. That my dad poured some of the coffee into for me. And then I sipped at the rest in a coffee cup after we got back home from Tryon City Tavern, Perry's Pizzeria's pub location, and then dropping my dad's friend Bill off at his place. I recall having the equivalent of roughly 4 full cups of plain coffee in total today. And it was enjoyable. We're currently brewing coffee that we got from Starbucks. Some days ago. According to my recollection, it was at least a week ago. We've been brewing ground coffee into plain coffee. That's how we always do it at my dad's place. Even though I'm pretty sure we have a coffee machine that also accepts Keurig pods. It's more convenient to use Keurig pods, but brewing ground coffee, I think in the long run you save money, and it's also better for the environment.